The green light is on, so we are live. Okay. Do we know if Tom is coming tonight?
I think it is.
Okay. Good. How you doing?
And you
Hi,
have
how are
your
you?
stuff, right?
Well, I picked it up, is that what you mean? Because you didn't have me
How are you?
designated
Good,
as
thank
a
you.
seat.
Oh.
I moved this, I moved
Oh,
that over
okay.
because I decided to sit here, I just took it on myself.
Oh, okay, so did you take that from here?
No, I brought this.
Okay, so this, I think, this is yours.
Agenda. Is anything?
This here.
Good evening, Dave. How are you
Somebody
tonight?
else.
Good, Nicholas, how are you?
You got that, you got the other one at First Street, is that you?
Yeah, I know, I'm gonna put it
So that's
on
the
from
only
now on,
two
because
things?
you picked up.
Because I picked up. Oh.
So,
So I
just a
did
little
the
bit
right
confusion, but that's okay.
Okay, great.
So we have this. And this. All right. Turn this on. Yeah, he didn't say he wasn't coming, so.
Okay. What's the reason I want to do this?
You tell me. Just fix the kitchen and bathroom. Right?
Yeah, the garage is,
What's that?
no, it's good in zoning, we established that it's good in zoning.
Huh?
The garage is okay.
It's okay.
Just the.
Just the kitchen.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, so,
Right.
because that's an accessory use, so. Hey, Karen.
I'm sorry, Karen. I didn't know you were gonna.
That's okay. Okay.
Where do you want to sit?
I can sit here?
Okay.
Here.
I didn't know you were coming, so I put the stuff in the chair that you
Oh,
normally
okay.
take.
Yeah, sorry, I had spoken with Lori.
Oh, it's fine.
Where's Tom?
They're expecting you. This-
Oh, you're trying to see if the feed is active?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just 7 o'clock. but
Oh, here it
we'll-
is. Okay.
It is there? Okay, good. All right, maybe we'll wait just one more minute to see if Tom's going to arrive, since we are expecting him. All right. Vivian, I have 7:01. Hopefully Tom will be able to join us, but I think we shouldn't hold things up much longer. Why don't we have an opening of the meeting and do a roll call?
Okay. Fred DeVito,
Here.
Ann Hartman,
Here,
Nicholas Forley,
Here?
and Tom Zarecki is not here yet, but is expected.
All right. Why don't we stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have two items on our agenda tonight. We're going to be discussing 53 Fairway Drive, and then afterwards we'll be discussing 24 Walnut Street. Both of these projects are being brought forth to us by Kurt Johnson. What we'll do is we'll have Kurt give us a detailed explanation of 53 Fairway Drive first. That way, if there's any questions from the public, they'll have all of the info and all the details.
Okay.
And we'll go from there, Kurt.
All right, good evening, everyone. 53 Fairway Drive, owner is Adam Morosky. And it's a 16,444 square foot lot, which is pre-existing non-conforming, as you need 40,000 square feet. It's in the R1 zoning district. I think as we explained last time, it's a little bit of an odd situation because the front 50 feet and the rear 50 feet of the property are actually in the R2 district, but where we're doing the work is in the R1 zone. So there is a residence on the property and there is a one-car garage with a shed in the rear of that. That's 12 by 28 currently. And it's pre-existing non-conforming in terms of setback on the northerly side. For an accessory structure, you're required to have 5 feet setback from the side, and we're actually 3.4 feet existing at its closest point. What we're proposing to do is actually demolish the garage. It really isn't of any service right now as a garage because it's too small and the foundation is failing. So we're proposing to rebuild that, hold the northerly line at 3.4 feet, and expand it to the south to 16 feet wide, same depth, 28 feet, 1 story. There'd be a shed underneath for a portion of the rear part of the garage because the grade drops off from the flat part here down to the rear.
And there's a storage area there now, and you're essentially just keeping that same
Exactly,
area.
yes. The hardship here is that we have a very narrow lot. You're required to have 150 feet of frontage in the zone district right now. We only have 50 feet, so that's pre-existing non-conforming, so it's very narrow.
Right.
And just the way that the house is situated, which is very close to the, I mean, it's kind of set in the center of the property, but the driveway comes along the northerly side here, and you can just get into the garage. So to make it more conforming to 5 feet, it pushes it further away, and you really can't get into the garage to be useful.
Right, right.
So.
Great. I think that the current members of the board have all been to the property and taken a look at it. Fred, I think you were there as well. Do you guys have any questions or comments for Kurt about this applicant's project?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Karen, do you have any comments about this? It looks like they're holding the line on the north side. They're just going to be going a little bit more to the south. I know we're waiting on the DEC for this.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt and I determined that certain variances should be reworked based on the accessory structures regulations. And yeah, I think this, so you are seeking a DC setback?
There's 2 variances we need. One is, I didn't explain this in the first go around. We do need the side yard setback to the north there to build it on the 3.4 from that northerly part of the line. We also need a coverage variance on this because you are allowed 15%. We're currently at 20% coverage. The increase in the garage side would bump that up to 21% on the property for lot coverage. And yes, to your point, Karen, we have submitted to the DEC for work within the 100-foot wetlands setback or adjacent area, which the wetlands line is back here. This is all basically maintained lawn right now. The DEC has been out there and they flag these wetlands. And then this is about the 100-foot setback here. So the proposed work is completely within the adjacent area of the wetlands. So that's been submitted to the DEC. They're reviewing it now.
And then,
oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, so there is also a DEC regulated stream there, but I just note that you're not extending any closer to the rear.
Correct, we are not.
And they had the DEC out there to flag
Yes.
the wetlands,
Right.
and which I'm sure are also aware of the stream there. So, I I think we're just waiting for the lead agency circulation
Right.
timing, so it was 30 days, and it
I
will
think
be.
June 9th will be
June
the
9th.
30-day.
Right, and so then you would make the secret determination, and I provided
Mhm.
draft documentation for the secret determination, which you can consider for your next meeting.
Okay. So again, Kurt, just to go over this, the side yard, you're at 3.4 feet, which is non-conforming, so you'll need a variance for that specifically. That's one of the things they're asking for. And then the lot coverage, which is currently at 20%, and you're just asking to go up to 21%.
Correct.
Technically, it's a 6% increase, even though it's 1% over the existing.
Mhm.
So those will be the two things that will be coming before the board. And we'll have to do that at our next meeting, because we have to wait for this 30-day circulation. We haven't heard back from the DEC. Okay, great. I think we've covered all the details on that. We had opened up the public hearing last meeting briefly. We lost a few people,
Mhm.
but let's have a motion to open up the public hearing to see if we have any public comment.
I'm gonna make a motion to open up the public hearing.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the public hearing is open. Does anybody in the public have any comments or questions about the Fairway Drive project that Kurt has just explained? We have no comments. All right. I guess we'll make a motion then to, can I have a motion to close the public hearing on the 53 Fairway, it's 53, yes, 53 Fairway Drive applicant's project?
Sure, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
And we have a second on that?
Yeah.
All right, all in favor of closing the public hearing for the Fairway Drive applicant's project? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. That's covered. Kurt, thank you. Again, we're gonna have to wait past June 9th, so
Yep.
that'll be covered at our next meeting, which, Vivian, when is that next meeting?
Towards the end of the month, I think.
Here,
It's in June. I have the schedule here somewhere.
I got it right here. June 28th.
All right, so June 28th, we'll revisit this,
Okay.
and then we'll be able to go through our short form seeker project form, and then come to a determination about those variances.
Okay.
All right. The next thing on our agenda, actually, let me just take a look here at our list. We haven't heard back. Yeah, we're gonna go over those criteria. Escrow's been received. All right, great. So the next thing we'll do then is we'll cover our next applicant, also covered by Kurt here, 24 Walnut Street. Notices were mailed out, and just looking this over. All right. Kurt, why don't you give us the lowdown on this, and
Okay.
we'll get all the specifics on this too, and then we'll reopen the public hearing.
Okay, we also have Pawling Villatoro, who is the owner of the property, with us tonight, so.
Welcome, Napoleon.
This is 24 Walnut Street. It's in the R3 residential zoning district. We have an existing residential use on the property here, and an accessory garage on the north side of the property. I think when we were there, we saw that there is a shed roof structure on the south side here, which currently houses a kitchen and a very small dining area. What we're proposing to do is extend, or actually fill in this corner. So follow the front line of the house and the southerly side of the house, fill that in. It would be 12 by 14 or so. Follow the same roof line, one-story addition. And by doing so, that, we're pre-existing non-conforming in terms of front yard setback on this right now with the existing residence, so we're holding that front property line. So we do need a front yard variance to do the additional work in that area. 25 feet is required, we're at 16 feet proposed. So we would need a 9-foot variance to the front of this property. I think what we discussed before when we were out there, there is a proposed addition to the garage, the accessory structure, but that falls within zoning requirements, so we do not need to make.
Right, I remember you had to update your plan to Karen here, because initially we thought that that
Yes.
might be something that was needed for a variance, and it no longer is. Okay, great.
So otherwise, this all will meet the zoning requirements, so it's just that front yard setback that we are looking for a variance on. The lot is a little bit odd, I think we saw there that the property line is actually quite a bit in from the edge of the road, so it's like halfway between the house, maybe a little bit further than halfway from the house to the edge of the road, so.
Right.
It really kind of pushes it into the property, the setbacks.
So that covered porch is staying?
Yes. They're just gonna be doing some repairs on that, so
Okay.
I don't know if that needs a variance or not. We're gonna be just repairing some posts and the decking on that and the railing, so it's within the setback, but it's not increasing the nonconformity.
Right. Dave, maybe we can get an opinion on you on this. It looks like the front porch is not really gonna be changing in size, right?
It's not changing in size, it's just changing in.
And it's a repair.
In repair, yes. So we're doing work within the required setback.
Right.
So I just wanted to make sure that that was clear.
Mm-hmm.
You're not increasing the
No.
nonconformity of the.
Correct, it's the
Yeah.
same size, but.
I don't think
So then we're not
that-
gonna need any variance for the porch element of this. So we cross that off there. So let me just go over this to make sure I've got this right. It looks like we have a aggregate side setback, a minimum is required of 40. You're proposing 39
No,
to accommodate the dining area?
No, I think we're all set.
Oh, wait, was that?
I think that might have been
Oh, that was
previous.
part of the garage?
Yeah, that might be when the
Okay.
garage was
That's-
in here.
I'm sorry, I didn't update that on my sheet here.
Yes.
So that is not, we don't need to discuss the aggregate side yard setback, because that was covered by the bulk.
Yeah, because aggregate, we have 6, yes. I think we're okay.
All right, so,
Let's just click while we're standing here. So,
so we don't need that. So then what we're looking
it's
at.
actually, I'm sorry, it's actually the deck here that's attached to the house.
Mhm.
It's currently 39 feet. That's an existing setback from the northerly property line.
Mhm.
So that doesn't meet the 40, and to the south, we're actually 26. So there is no 40-foot minimum. The aggregate is okay
Okay.
if you put them together.
So then,
Let's go back.
it looks to me that,
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
all right, so it looks to me then, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I very well might be, the side yard setback, minimum required is 40 feet. You're proposing.
Aggregate, yes.
Yes, the aggregate.
And we're proposing.
27.5 to accommodate the dining area.
No, we're 65. We're 40-foot minimum aggregate. We're proposing 65, so we're above the minimum
Oh, you
there.
are, okay.
And then we have a 15-foot minimum on either side, and we're proposing 39 and 26, so we're above there. So we do not need a variance for that. We just need the front yard setback.
You just need the front yard setback.
Correct.
Okay.
The confusion might be is when we were here before, we were talking about the garage being included. in
Yeah,
this
my
also, but that's a
apologies
sep-
too, because
No,
we've got
no,
a few
that's-
moving.
it's a little
few
confusing,
moving
so.
parts.
Yep.
Can I just ask a question,
Yeah.
Craig? I mean, you made this, the secret determination was made at the last meeting?
No.
Negative.
No secret, not even
No,
the declaration of a type
we
of
were
action?
advised not
the
to go-
declaration, but the type of action?
I don't think you did, you just opened the public hearing at the last meeting, correct?
Correct, we didn't determine what kind of an action this
Right.
was.
Karen and I weren't here, but I'm just wondering what is kicking this out of the type 2? It's an area variance, right? Is there something else that I'm missing?
Yeah, it's just an area variance, that's all it is.
I,
Just an area variance for the
I
front
think-
setback.
I'm just looking at the regs here and I'm.
yeah, I mean, now that it's just like an individual and not like a bunch of them, it probably could be a type 2. Either way, there were no involved agencies, and I've prepared the seeker determination materials already, Dave, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
But
thinking in
if
terms
you-
of the other, well, actually the other applicant, I mean, if it's a type 2, then you wouldn't have to go through all that.
Yeah, but the other one, 53, has a
DEC above.
DEC wetland adjacent area.
But it's still an area variance, right?
It's not just an area variance.
What, oh, is there a permit?
Yes, we
Yeah.
need a permit, yes, for work in the setback.
Okay, so that one clearly, and this one.
And that permit's granted from the DEC.
Correct.
And
They're
this
correct.
one, you only need the area variance for the front setback, so it probably could be a type 2 now that we got rid of the other side yard variances.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just looking at 617.5, 16. Type 2 includes granting of individual setback and lot line variances and adjustments. And 17 is granting of an area variance for a single family, 2-family, or 3-family residence.
I think you declared intent to be lead agency at last.
Yeah, we have on
at
both.
last meeting,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there
this
were no
one-
other.
So
involved
do we
agents.
need to make a determination that this is a type 2 action, Dave, or is that, okay?
Yeah, I mean, you could, and then you don't, there is no seeker. I mean, you're, you know, that's the
Well,
end of the,
That is seeker, it's just.
it's a type 2
just a
action.
type of, that,
Not subject to, the statute says not subject to seeker if it's a type 2 action, so.
Well, it is technically seeker, it's just that it's not the type of action that would result in significant adverse impacts. You're doing seeker.
Got it. So we'll still go through the
typing it
seeker.
Type two,
Got it.
yeah.
Type 2 action for seeker, okay.
But you have to make that by resolution or motion, right?
Whatever you wanna do, I mean, yeah, it's all sort of, I think it's sort of semantics, really. I mean, if you don't need to, you're not gonna get in trouble not doing seeker, let's put it that way.
But
So
we'll go
having
through it, why not? We'll go
Certainly a
through the
good idea
motions.
to adopt a resolution that is, that you found it to be a type 2 action.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so essentially then, the thing that we're really doing here, after going through some of the changes
Yes.
and what's allowed and what isn't,
Yes.
is we're only looking at a variance request from you for the front yard setback,
That's correct.
which the minimum required is 25 feet, and you're proposing 10 feet.
Actually 60,
60.
10 feet is to the
Okay.
porch.
Oh, I see, I'm sorry.
That's the existing porch.
You're
16 is
proposing-
the actual addition. So we need a 9
And the
foot.
existing right now, the existing right now, what is the existing right now?
10.3 is the existing setback to the face of the porch.
Okay, so you're requesting going from 10.3 to 16.
We're not doing any work at the 10.3.
Yes.
We need a variance from the 25 to allow us to build within 16 feet of the front
Yes, yes.
line. The porch is already there, pre-existing
Right,
non-conforming.
they're not touching the porch.
Okay, does anyone else from the board have any additional questions for Kurt before we'll open up a public hearing and see if there's any questions from the public?
No.
All right. I've been a little confused, but I think it's getting clear along the way.
We'll get there.
Okay, can I have a motion to open up the public hearing?
I move to open up the public hearing.
All right, can we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the hearing, we are now opening the public hearing for any comments or questions for this project on Walnut Street. All right, it looks like we have one person in our audience, Jeanette, and she's not having any questions for us tonight. All right, so I guess we can move to close the public hearing on this. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
All right, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. Let us go through our seeker evaluation on this next. Short form seeker assessment, short environmental assessment form. This has been filled out
So,
by.
so if you determine it's type 2, you don't need to do that.
I know, actually, and why don't we make a motion to determine that this is a type 2 action, but I still want to go through seeker just to be safe and get all of our ducks in a row. Karen, what do you think about it?
If nothing else, it's good experience, right?
All right, good enough.
Okay.
All right, so I'd like to have somebody make a motion to determine that this applicant's project is a type 2 action. And we have a motion to approve that it is a type 2 action.
I move that we determine that this is a type 2 action.
Can we have a second?
And I'll second it.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the resolution passes that this is a type 2 action. Technically, we may not be required to do seeker, but we are going to do it just the same to be safe. Now, Karen, did you fill this out or did the applicant fill this out?
So the part 1 form for the environmental assessment forms, and there's a short and there's a long.
Mhm.
In this instance, they filled out the short, is
Mhm.
generally prepared by the applicant.
Okay.
And then the lead agency, which in this case is you guys, prepare parts 2 and 3. So I prepared parts 2 and 3 for you all,
Got it.
based on information provided by the applicant in part 1, and also, by double checking various things.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do, I'll read through these elements. I'm assuming that the other board members have a copy of this short environmental assessment form. You guys read along with me. I'll read through the questions and the answers. We'll make sure we agree. Essentially, if you don't agree, I'll just kind of pause after each one. If you have any comment or anything, we'll stop for a moment. Talk
This is
about
for
it.
20.
This is for Walnut
Walnut.
Street.
Walnut, okay.
Yeah.
Which I don't
This is
have.
the Villataro
Yeah,
project.
I don't have Walnut, I have 53.
It was in the old packet that we had gotten for the last meeting.
Let me see if I have it here.
Um,
I got that.
Do you have extra copies, Vivian, for
I
them?
have one, if somebody doesn't have.
I have
Look through
extra
it.
copies of the.
It looks like this, short,
Yeah.
okay, and it should say Village Island.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Your name of applicant.
Yeah.
Here's mine. Thank you.
Do you have the part two printed out? Because the convention is generally
That's the
that,
criteria.
that the part two gets read. If a board decides to read through, they generally read through the part two as opposed to reading through part
I
one.
don't have part two. I only have part one.
Okay, that's what I sent you guys,
Oh, I didn't print that out. I thought that that might have been in the packet. My apologies.
that's okay. Should.
Sure Karen can find it and read it.
Yeah, I mean, I have it here if you'd like me to read it for you, read it out.
Well, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's make things easy.
Okay, all right, so this is the part two impact assessment. It's comprised of 11 questions, and then the part three form is where you make the determination of significance. It's just
Okay,
a
thank you.
application form where you can basically go through the actions and
Mhm.
document your decisions.
All right.
So the first question is, will the proposed action create a material conflict with adopted land use planning or zoning regulations? And I would suggest that, it's a small impact, and you can probably determine this based on your various area variance criteria questions.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, it, does not comply with the existing zoning, which is why they're here for a variance, but whether it is, you know, going against, the master plan in some demonstrative fashion,
Mhm.
or introducing, characteristics that are unlike the rest of the community, that's where you would kind of think about that.
Mhm.
The next question is, will the proposed action result in the change in the use or intensity of the use of the land? This is not a use variance, it's an area variance, and we know it's for, the expansion of a dining area.
Mhm.
So I would suggest no. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? This is related to the first question as we just discussed.
Mhm.
The fourth, will the proposed action have an impact on environmental characteristics that caused establishment of a critical environmental area? So those are designated areas established by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and the Great Swamp is one. This site, 24 Walnut, I think, you know, the rear
back
of it
area
kind of,
does.
abuts the critical environmental area, but
However, the applicant is gonna be doing work in the very front of the building.
Right.
So there is no
in
close
disturbed
proximity to the wetlands area.
Yes, exactly. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action increase the use of energy, and fail to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? I'm sure it'll be energy conservation materials of some type.
Mhm.
Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies? No, you have no new hookups here.
Right.
Public-private wastewater treatment, again, no. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? This is an improved property already disturbed. The building itself is not a historically eligible or listed resource. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, as in wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora or fauna? I would say no, because again, it's occurring in a disturbed area of the property.
Mhm.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential of erosion, flooding, or drainage? I believe this is less than 10,000 square feet of disturbance.
Yeah.
That's your threshold here in the village in areas that are regulated under the Department of Environmental Protection's watershed laws.
So that's just.
So no, otherwise it's 1 acre. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? And that's about exposing contamination issues,
Mhm.
and the answer here is no. So now we're on to part three, determination of significance, and basically this is the place where you say, yes, there's a potential adverse impact, and we need to do an EIS, which is environmental impact statement, which is a much lengthier study.
Right.
Or no, we do not believe there's a significant adverse impact here. And that's called a negative declaration.
Okay. I'll offer my opinion here to the board. It doesn't appear to me that the project that the applicant wants to do here is a large and significant project. It doesn't appear to me that the impact is gonna be great in any way, but I'd love to hear from the rest of the board, see if you guys feel similarly or differently.
I think you're 100% correct. It's a small project. I don't think it's gonna affect much.
Ann, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I agree with both of you.
All right, so then I guess we'll make a motion for a negative declaration.
Well, you would, except that you already did a type 2 action. So here are your options, when you make a determination of significance. You can do a negative declaration or a positive declaration. The positive declaration gets you to an EIS. The negative declaration stops it and says everything's okay here. Or before you even get to that step, it could be the type of action that's part of the type 2 list. It's a list of like 24 different things. And one of them is individual area variances for residential properties. And that is a type 2 action because it never results in, basically never results in significant adverse impacts. So we would have coded it that way right off the bat, but there was more than one variance required.
Initially,
Plus we
right.
had a little bit of uncertainty over the zoning, so in the
Right.
absence of having that clear, we couldn't really make that determination so easily. So, you already made a type 2, but if you didn't make a type 2, then you could do a neg deck.
But if we do a negative declaration, is that inappropriate, or is that just
Yes,
redundant?
it's,
It's inappropriate.
Okay, so then the board has expressed their opinion that there is no large effect here, and absent of having declared it a type 2, we probably would have made a determination, but there's no
Yes.
need to, but we had a discussion about it.
right, and now you know the process a little better, so nothing, no harm, right?
No harm done. All right, so then, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave and Karen, but it appears to me that what we're looking to do here is request a 16-foot variance. Required is minimum 25 feet, and it's 16 feet.
Yeah, so we need a 9-foot variance.
There's a 9-foot variance requested for the front setback. All right, I'd like to have the board make a motion if they believe that we should grant a 9-foot variance to this applicant for the front setback. Can we have a motion to take a vote on that?
I'll make a motion to vote.
Can we have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of granting the 9-foot setback variance, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and it looks like we have no one opposed. All right, so the motion for a 9-foot setback variance has been granted for the Villa Tower project
Thank you.
on Walnut Street.
Thanks, Karen.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kurt.
All right, thank you.
We'll see you
We'll
next
See you
time.
next month. Very good.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday weekend.
Good luck
Yeah,
on your-
really.
Good luck on your project.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
We're expecting a nice Thanksgiving dinner in your new dining room. Okay. Looks like the next thing is the approval of the minutes from the May 3rd meeting. I've had a chance to take a look at them. Have the other board members had a chance to take a look at them? If they haven't, do they need a moment to look at them now?
I looked at them this
I have
afternoon.
looked at them.
All right, does anybody have any changes requested of those minutes, or?
I do.
Do not, okay.
Not either.
I don't either. Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes from the May 3rd zoning board of appeals meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, and can we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of approving those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion to approve the minutes from May 3rd has passed. I think that's all for tonight. Vivian, am I forgetting anything? That's okay. Karen, Dave, is there anything that I haven't quite covered right, or that we need to address in your? Okay.
That's it.
Okay, if that's the case, then I guess we can have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. May we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right, all in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
And nobody's opposed, so I guess we're done. Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, all. Have you completed this year, right?
Yes.
I have these papers.
Karen, thank you for coaching me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little technical
Good night, all.
things that
Good
I'm
night.
doing
Good
more
night,
for you.
Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, I thought you knew I was coming because you told me that.
Yes. After she spoke with you, she forgot to mention,
Okay.
that.
I'm glad you were here though, because
Are we,
you were able to explain that subtlety between declaring
Are we still
type
on,
2 and then that food